What is going on, my freaky friends? This is your friend King Julian. Today with yet another very exciting video. I'm here with none other than the beautiful Aprilia RS660. Yes, I'll be test riding this bike. Yes, I will tell you a bit more about it. This is so exciting. I wanted to get my hands on this bike for ages now, and it's finally happening. And I can tell you, you have a lot to look forward to. Before I hop on this bike and talk about the riding experience, let's talk about some components that we can see at first sight and see what this beautiful machine is packed with. We would start with Brembo brakes. So this suggests there is already at least one premium component to this beauty. Dual discs in the front, a single disc in the rear. Suspension, we have upside down fork in the front, fully adjustable as these two babies suggest, and a rear shock, also adjustable. This suspension is Kayaba. I read that in the spec sheet, otherwise I couldn't tell. What else have we got here? Let's check. Okay, adjustable brake lever, very nice. Clutch, not adjustable. We'll see how it feels. You can see it has a beautiful TFT dash with really nice graphics. And it already suggests we have some riding modes here. So dynamic, individual, can be customized, and commute. Good. Now look at the front mask. Full LED lighting system, of course. And one thing I couldn't figure out from the photos was, where does this bike actually have turn signal? So let me demonstrate that. Integrated in the headlight. Beautiful. This is really beautiful. Which leads me to one thing that I have to mention, though I swore once that I would never talk about design because it's very subjective. But in this case, I mean, you have to admit this is an absolute beauty. There's hardly anything to criticize about this bike. The Italians just did a stellar job as usual. My goodness, from any angle, this is so beautiful. Even the tail light. I love it. I love it. This color scheme, by the way, is called Acid Gold, and no camera or phone or GoPro, no technology can really do it justice. You have to see this color live in flesh. It is beautiful. On camera it just looks yellow, but it's not. It's really, there's some gold to it, and it's beautiful, like pearl yellow, goldish, wonderful color. You have to see it live, really. And the red wheels, yeah. It's a very bold statement Aprilia is making with this color scheme, but it works just... it's perfect. It works really well, at least for me. Good. Let's hop on the bike and see what she's got for us. First of all, she sits quite high, actually. I was expecting this bike to be lower. Yeah, so I can almost reach the ground with both feet flat, but only almost. The heels are definitely lifted a little bit. I'm 177 centimeters tall, by the way. Good. Now, here comes the best part. The engine is a parallel twin with 270-degree crank, which is responsible for this awesome stock sound. Let's admire this a little bit. I'll hop off again, because this is probably the best exhaust note I heard in a stock setting on a bike. Sounds very Italian, very mad. And if you can see, there's this little exhaust on the other side as well, so it has two exhausts actually. We're in the commute mode. So let's take her for a spin and see how this beauty performs. Jesus, calm your tits, buddy. As you can see, animals don't like her too much. I do. First of all, what I can feel right away is this bike is super light. This is a middleweight, but the body is definitely as light as some lightweights, which is a great quality for a Supersport, and this feels like a Supersport. I can compare it to a couple of bikes that I've ridden in the past. Mostly I can compare it to my CBR 650R, which was way more relaxed. Here I'm leaning over, it feels really sporty, still not uncomfortable though, which is nice. Where will we go? You know what? We'll go like this. But this bike is no sports tour or anything like that. It's a proper sports bike. This particular RS660 is still being broken into, so it's still in the training mode, so to say, which means I cannot rev it up too much. I shouldn't go past 6,000 to 7,000 RPM, which is okay because it has plenty of power to offer. It's a parallel twin which produces exactly 100 HP at 10,500 RPM and 67 Newton meters of torque at 8,500 RPM. Those of you who can read the specs a little bit and who can imagine what means what, if you have 180 kilos of curb weight, 100 ponies and 67 Newton meters of torque, it suggests it's a very, very fun and lively bike. And that is exactly true. But so far what I'm noticing is it's a pity that the clutch lever is not adjustable. I would adjust it right away, because I have to reach for the clutch way too much for my taste. It's a bit uncomfortable. The feel of the clutch though is perfect. I have really nothing to criticize about it. Also, the throttle feels great, and I think this actually has electronic throttle. It's packed with technology really, and electronics. It adopts 100% of the electronics of the RS-V4, which is its older sister, a leader bike, an orthodox racer. One good thing is you can switch between the modes. It has these three basic modes. There's a guy on a scooter without a helmet. Congratulations, sir. And you can switch between those as you're riding. The only condition is the throttle has to be closed. So I'll close the throttle and switch to dynamic. We're in the 5th gear, 85 km/h. So if I want to feel the pull and the difference between the commute and dynamic, I have to downshift. Very nice. Oh goodness me. Whoa. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, wow, this is super exciting. So, this is super exciting. This bike reminds me a lot of Ducati Panigale, actually. Really a lot. The sound, the whole feel of the bike, the Italian bikes feel completely different to anything else. And I really love what I'm feeling. Okay. Oh shit. Woo. This is really slippery. Okay. Something happened here. I don't like that. Is it oil? Shit, it is. Not good. I have to take it very easy now. Good. But beside the 3 basic modes, we have also 2 hidden ones. I haven't figured out yet how to turn them on. But there should be a race mode and a track mode. They should also have lap timer and things like that. Really a lot of electronics, one-to-one adopted from the RSV4. Shit. And I'm sliding. Whew. Wasn't nice. That wasn't nice. Speaking of which, this bike, let's get back to the commute mode until I feel safe again. This bike has also traction control, like 7 or 8 stage traction control. Might be an overkill for a bike of this size and engine, but yeah, recycle, right? And it has wheelie control. Hello. It has adjustable engine braking, and what else? ABS, cornering ABS, a lot of electronics. Really a premium electronics package that you can play around with, and you can really adjust everything exactly to your own preference, which is something that I like. It offers a lot of fun. You don't get bored on this bike easily. I don't know if it will be so noticeable on the video, but in reality this bike sounds amazing. Really the best stock sound I've ever heard in my life. And I'm not the only one saying this. Also, for a twin cylinder, it is not way too jerky in low revs, actually. You can feel it asking for more, but it's not jerky to an extent that would be uncomfortable, really. Which is something I also like. I was a little afraid, but no. It's actually really nice, and you can feel the vibration, of course. Like you can feel the vibration already from the sound, from the sheer sound of this machine, but it's really surprisingly smooth when you actually sit on it. Let's check now the tires, because that puddle of oil, yeah. Okay, should be gone. That was nice. So what didn't I cover? Okay, we're standing next to a gas station, so maybe we should talk about fuel. As far as the fuel economy on this bike goes, I must admit I haven't checked this information yet. So I don't know what's the average fuel consumption according to the spec sheet. I'll leave it in the description, or I'll leave a subtitle here. But it has a 15-liter fuel tank, really nicely shaped, very wide. This whole thing it seems very short and compact, but at the same time it's really wide. So yeah, I love it. I love everything about this bike, really. And we can get back to the dynamic mode because we're outside of the grave danger. Now I feel it's kind of jerky, but it's really low revs, so yeah. And I need to get on the highway again, actually, because I forgot to talk about the wind protection. But maybe I don't need to get on the highway. Maybe I will talk about it right now as we're cruising through the city. And maybe we'll do some lane splitting as well and see how this bike can handle city traffic. Hello, sir, that's a very beautiful bike you have. So first things first, the wind protection. The lower body is protected perfectly well because of all the fairings and because of how bulky this bike is. The upper body though, I would say what? I don't know, 20 to 30%. I can feel the wind blast on my helmet, of course, because as you can see, the stock windshield, the standard one, default one, is really short and low. Now we can do a little bit of no, we can't. The traffic is moving. Next time. So this particular windscreen doesn't protect me very much from the wind blast, but I can conveniently tuck down, and then it gets better. And you can tuck down on this bike. Believe me, you can. I have plenty of room for my ass on this tiny looking seat, actually, and the ergos are just set in a way that it really allows for this very aggressive, racy rider position. This bike, ergonomics wise, is something between an R6 and the CBR 650R. So more weight on my wrists definitely than it was on CBR, but at the same time it's still not uncomfortable. It's still, I would still say it's more exciting than uncomfortable. However, it's impossible for me to judge how comfortable this bike is when we're actually touring. That's another R660, beautiful. Oh, and I forgot about one very juicy detail, and a very important one, because part of this bike's electronics package is cruise control, my all-time favorite. I firmly believe cruise control should be mandatory. There should be an EU regulation basically regulating the bike producers in Europe and say, all of you need to implement cruise control. And by the way, this bike comes as standard with, you wait sir, with quick shifter, up and down, so quick shifter and blipper. And as you could see, the TFT display is an intelligent one, because depending on the light, on the outside light, it switches from light to dark mode. You can also turn this functionality off and set whichever mode you prefer. Beautiful performance. And that was a blipper, ladies and gentlemen, and it works like a charm. And the quick shifter as well. You really need to rev it up a bit if you want the quick shifter to be smooth. So it's really for the sporty riding and sport shifting, not very suitable for your regular city riding. And the blipper, you have to literally kick it. So you can go really soft with this bike. So if I wanted to quick shift now at what, 4,000 RPM, it jumps a little bit, right? It's not happy about it. The blipper, perfect, flawless. To really make the quick shifter work properly, you need to rev it up to 5,000 to 6,000 RPM maybe, and then it's really flawless with no delay whatsoever. Yeah, these are not proper twisties because we're still more or less in the city center, and as you can see there are manholes, so I cannot really let loose, and the traffic is also quite high, so I'm not taking any risks. But from the little I could experience so far, this bike is so much fun. This is a completely different story. It really urges you to lean, and you like that. That's a quality you want to have on a sports bike. Wow, and I love this view. The cockpit just looks so great. And as I was saying before, this bike really looks tiny from the outside. The first time I saw it in flesh, I was like, dude, this bike is small, but when you're sitting on it, it makes so much sense. And yeah, it's really bulky, so it doesn't seem so tiny anymore as soon as you sit on it. Thank you for interrupting my lecture. I've ridden this machine for about 50 minutes, and I can tell you it's really fairly comfortable for a Supersport. The only discomfort I really feel is in the wrists because of the position of the levers that I've mentioned already before. That's something I would really set differently. But it's also something that isn't carved in stone. Opa, good. Yeah, lane splitting. Very much possible. We're getting outside of the city. So I don't know what exactly is the ideal situation, or what are the conditions for the cruise control to kick in. So let's see. Okay, there was a brief cruise control. Okay. And here we go! Here we go! Ladies and gentlemen, cruise control on a Supersport. This is absolutely crazy! Wonderful! And you can easily switch it off by hitting the brakes, of course, or with this little joystick here. Oh, I'm in love with this bike! Come on! It has everything. It has everything. There's one more thing I need to show you, by the way. I'll get to that later, but under the pillion seat, okay, I can tell you, it's no secret. There's a luggage rack under the pillion seat. So if you want to buy whatever it is, saddlebag, you have a luggage rack there under the pillion seat. Okay. Flipper, beautiful. Quick shifter, beautiful. This is, yes, this is when it shines. Okay, we're all set now. Cruise control at 120 km/h, and I can enjoy the ride and relieve my sore wrists. Look at this on a Supersport. Come on. And I know BMW has it too. I know, but I'm riding this bike right now and just can't wrap my head around how awesome it is. Good. One final look at this bike. This is what the silhouette lights look like. Then you can switch it either manually, or the bike will do it for you as soon as it gets dark. A very clever machine. And this is the high beam, this middle one. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Alright, my freaky friends, that's it for this amazing test ride and for this amazing little machine. Look how stunning it is, so beautiful. So I'll talk to you in the next one. I'll provide more details about this bike, definitely. And oh yeah, there's one more detail, one little detail I forgot to mention, and it's that this bike actually belongs to me. Yeah.